Hello everyone, I am back once again with another Wi-Fi match for Sword and Shield. This is going to be my week 5 match for the SDA League, and my opponent for this match is going to be somebody named Rhoulder. You'll notice that for one thing, we're going to be using the 20-minute timer for this match once again, because I personally have been just feeling disinterested with the league, and I almost didn't even bother scheduling with this guy for this match. But they were like approaching a lot, so because of that I just told him, yeah, let's just do 20 minute timer. I don't really care. So yeah, I think he did ask me if I wanted to do the friendly competitions and the 20-minute timer. So obviously if there's something that I don't like in the outcome of this match, it most likely will be on me anyway. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, so another thing you'll notice is that I said week 5 match as opposed to week 4. I'll actually talk about that after the match as to why I didn't get the week 4 match. So yeah, but for now, just let it be known that we're going to be doing week 5 right here. And the teams are as follows here. My opponent has a Jirachi, an Araquanid, an Alolan Zapdos, or not an Alolan Zapdos, a Galarian Zapdos, silly me. Starmie, Alolan Ninetales, that's Alolan obviously, and Swampert obviously. The team doesn't look too scary, with the exception of Ninetales, thanks to the Aurora Veil and all that stuff, so it could be scary if I let that thing set up. But everything else doesn't look too bad. Like, I've seen a lot worse if my previous matches wasn't anything to go by. So I wanted to believe that maybe this time I could actually win a match here. But I actually have to play my cards correctly, because otherwise I may choke it, because I have done that numerous times in the past. And I'm just hoping this is not another one of those occasions. So yeah, I know it shows here that I'm leading off with Entei, but then I kind of quickly changed my mind right here and decide to go with Sylveon instead, because Sylveon hits everything on his team really, really hard. I'm more scared of the Swampert than I am the Jirachi, because yeah, Entei can just kind of hit Jirachi with a Sacred Fire, and Garchomp can hit it with an Earthquake, but Swampert kind of resists both of those moves. So yeah, obviously I decided to send in Sylveon in case he wants to lead off with the Swampert for one reason or another. So here we go. We're gonna start the match here, and my opponent is actually going to lead off with the, I believe, the Araquanid. Yeah, the Araquanid. Okay, so obviously as soon as I saw this, this is where it clicked on me that this thing could actually lead off and go for Sticky Webs. But nonetheless, I decided to go for the Baton Pass because, for one thing, I don't have any hazard removal, so obviously if he gets it off, he gets it off. But if it doesn't go for Sticky Webs, and this is like maybe a banded variant of Araquanid, and it has the Water Bubble ability, then chances are it just takes out my Sylveon right here, and I kind of didn't want to lose that. So because of that, I Baton Passed into the Sideway, and unfortunately for me, it does go for the Sticky Webs, but like I said before, I couldn't really do much because obviously I don't have hazard removal anyway. I think in retrospect I should have probably stayed in with Sylveon, but you know, at the time I was just kind of panicked after I saw the Sticky Web, so I don't know. Maybe this might have been a choke right here, I don't know. But here he's going to switch out obviously and go into the Galarian version of Zapdos, and I do get a Spirit Shackle off on this thing, which means it can no longer pivot. And it's a 2-hit KO, but unfortunately I cannot outspeed it, so I have to hard switch into Raikou and hope he doesn't go for a fighting type move, because if it does, then that's a rip me right there. I think I will survive it, but obviously it's not going to appreciate it, and I'll be crippled by the time I can send this thing out again. So yeah, here as you can see, it's just going to go for the Brave Bird, thankfully, and I do take it relatively well, so that's actually good too. Could have taken it a lot worse. I actually thought it would do a little bit more than that. I do have leftovers on this Raikou too, in case anything happens. And yeah, here I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball because chances are he'll want to switch in the Swampert here. Again, the electrical move is just too obvious of a play here, so yeah, he does go for the Swampert switch in here. I was hoping for a Spatak drop so I can possibly 2-hit KO it, but you're going to see right here that this Swampert is surprisingly enough chunky on the special side. So it takes the special attack very, very well, that even with a Spadef drop, it's definitely going to take another Shadow Ball, and it's just going to retaliate with Earthquake and finish me off. Or so I thought anyway, because here I'm actually going to switch into this Sideway, expecting that Earthquake right now, because I figured, like, going for the Shadow Ball again might be tempting, that I probably would stay in. So I kind of wanted to believe that he would think that way. but he ends up reading me like a fiddle, and right here he ends up going for the Ice Punch and is a 2-hit KO on Decidueye, so that's unfortunate. So because of that, because Sticky Webs are up, I wasn't really sure I could outspeed with Decidueye, the Swampert. After all, Swampert's speed is like 60, while Decidueye's is 70, so with Sticky Webs, it should definitely outspeed, even if the Swampert wasn't invested in any speed whatsoever. So yeah, here I hard switch into Scizor, which sure gets outsped too, honestly, but I want to believe he can take the hits a lot better, especially this Ice Punch, which I was kind of hoping he would go for again anyway, as opposed to like maybe a Waterfall or an Earthquake. So here, I think I try to go for the knockoff right here because I wanted to see what item he would have on the Swampert if he chooses to stay in. He actually goes into the Araquanid instead, and I do get to knock off this instead, which is nice because you're going to see right here that this thing has a freaking Rocky Helmet, and since the majority of my mons are you know, physical attackers, this would be a bit of an inconvenience, especially if this thing can recover somehow. So yeah, here, now that I've knocked off this thing, I think here I actually wanted to go for the U-turn here, but again, because of the Sticky Webs, I wasn't really sure I'd be able to outspeed the Araquanid. I think the Araquanid's base speed is 40, I'm not really sure on that though. So because of that, and compared to Scizor's 65, I just wasn't too sure I'd be able to outspeed after a Sticky Web drop with the speed and all that. So I decided to just send in the Decidueye right here just to see what happens. He does go for the Liquidation, which surprisingly enough I actually do resist with Decidueye, which kind of tells me that maybe this wasn't a water bubble ability to Araquanid like I thought initially. Had I known that, I probably would have stayed in with Sylveon and just gotten all the damage possible before that thing got to switch out, if my opponent wanted to switch it out. But as it is, now I'm just here like thinking, great, what could have been wasn't. So here I go for the Leaf Blade, and as you can see, I actually turn out to outspeed the Araquanid as well, which I guess makes sense because Decidueye's speed is still kind of higher. It's like 70, like I said before, and Araquanid's, again, it might be like 40 or something, so that's like a lot more higher than all the other mons that I've been sending out against this thing. But I personally wasn't confident, but I just decided to just stay in and lose Decidueye regardless, and he ends up getting outsped, so I was just like, dang it, so I could have definitely maybe done something. Well, now he's going to send in the Swampert, and the Swampert definitely outspeeds Decidueye here, but on the off chance that it doesn't, I decided to just stay in and go for the Leaf Blade. It does outspeed, as you can see. It didn't even matter because this Decidueye was just donezo anyway. The Sticky Webs are up. There's no way I can get rid of him, so it was definitely just going to go down regardless to anything he has on his team. So yeah, I decided to let it go down. He goes for the Flip Turn, so this is actually good for me because now I get to see what mon he wants to send in. He sends out the Jirachi, which kind of gave me the idea of just going into... I was thinking Garchomp, but then I figured, yeah, he's gonna send in probably the Zapdos probably, and then from there it'd be a predicament. Like I'd have to debate whether or not to go for Dragon Claw or Earthquake. It was like a 50-50 that I wasn't really willing to go for. So I think because of that, I think I end up sending out Entei instead. Garchomp might have been nice because I could have scared off the Jirachi, but there was also that possibility that he wouldn't. So yeah, I decided to just go for Entei here. Now, annoyingly enough, he does stay in and actually tries to play risky here, because what he's gonna do right here after I try to go for the Sacred Fire here, he's actually gonna try to go for the what's it called, the Zen Headbutt. There we go. I was like wondering what was the move again. Yeah, it's Zen Headbutt, which unfortunately does have a chance to flinch, and because the ability is Serene Grace, the chance to flinch has been doubled basically. And Zen Headbutt's chance to flinch is 30%, so with Serene Grace it's like 60, so yeah, no, this is like a nightmare right here. So even though I said that Jirachi wasn't going to be that big of a deal, yeah, it's turning out that it is, because it's a Scarf variant with the flinching moves basically, with Zen Headbutt and possibly Iron Head too for my Sylveon. So yeah, this isn't looking too good. Here I decided to stay in because I was hoping he'd at least for once be unlucky and actually not get the flinch here and I can just get the Sacred Fire off. But nah, the game obviously doesn't let me. I have to remember that we are in Generation 8 where RNG isn't exactly in my favor ever, so because of that, I decided to just switch in the Garchomp right here. And I was kind of hoping I'd be able to scare it away here with Earthquake. In fact, one of the reasons why I didn't send this thing initially was because I figured he would just stay in and keep going for attacks here. Or I kind of felt like he would have probably switched out if I send it in. I meant to say. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But yeah, I meant to say that if I sent in Garchomp earlier, he probably would have switched out, I felt. So here, I decided to send in Garchomp now. And I think I do go for the Dragon Claw, expecting him to want to switch out to the Galarian Zapdos. So because of that, yeah, I wanted to go for Earthquake, but I didn't want to risk him like switching out. So because of that, I went for the Dragon Claw. But annoyingly enough, he does end up staying in and goes for another Zen Headbutt. And unfortunately, this one was a crit. So now my Garchomp is even more crippled than I was hoping it'd be, which sucks. So now, obviously, now I have to switch into the Scissor here, and I guess hope for the best because, you know, like, I think here I wasn't really sure if this thing was even, like, scarfed yet. It might have been, but I wasn't really sure either, I think. So I just switched in Scissor here, hoping he wouldn't switch up the moves, and if he does, then, you know, rip me. If he switches out here, which I think that was the reason why I finally decided to send in Scissor. I wanted to see if this was a Scarf set. So I go for, I believe, the knockoff right here. Oh, no, actually, I go for the Roost because I wanted to see if he would switch out first. So, yeah, I go for the Roost right here, actually. I was debating on whether or not to go for it because, again, he could switch out to something. But he does end up staying in yet again just to try to flinch me to death, obviously. And thankfully, he doesn't get it right here. So I do get the Roost off. And I believe it's here where he finally decides, you know what, it's time to book it. So he's definitely going to switch it out right here. So I decided to go for the knockoff right here now, because I don't think he's going to want to try to flinch me all the way from green, obviously. So he definitely has to switch out right here, and he does. And thankfully for me, he ends up switching in the Starmie here, which I personally was a little scared that this knockoff wouldn't take it out, but thankfully it does. So even if it didn't, I would have been able to bullet punch it right afterwards, so it wasn't too bad, all things considered. This thing had heavy duty boots too in case I had like hazards up, which, yeah, it's pretty annoying, but I mean, I'm just glad the Starmie is gone. That thing is relatively fast, and with sticky webs up, it would have been a nightmare to deal with. So yeah, but now he's gonna send in the Swampert, and this Swampert is scary because Earthquake will hurt, and so would Waterfall, depending on what he wants to go for, really. However, I think here I try to take the hit here. I'm not really sure though. There was the thought of switching out, but I wasn't really sure again. So I think here I stay in and just go for the Roost, I think. Because I wanted to see how hard he hits me with those moves. I was hoping he wouldn't flinch me with Waterfall either. He does just go for the Earthquake, and as you can see right here, it doesn't do too much to Scissor. So I was just like, okay. So long as he doesn't have Waterfall to flinch me, or even worse, Scald maybe, and this is like a mixed attacking Swampert or something like that, then I should be fine. I think here I try to knock off again. I'm not really sure. It's either that or I try to go for another Roost, but I was in a relatively tight situation here because of the sticky webs, obviously. Like, I just didn't know what to do in a lot of these situations because I wasn't really expecting the sticky web strat here. Like, I knew he had a rack in it, but I think I just kind of forgot that these things could just sticky web all day. But yeah. So here, again, just thinking of what I want to do. I think I ultimately just go for the Roost, and he does switch out. And I believe here he sends in the, this thing, the Galarian Zapdos. Which, after learning that this thing was not an electric type here, obviously, I decided to try to risk it for the biscuit here and actually try to go for the Bullet Punch right here. Yeah, because, yeah, here I confidently go for it because I was just like, yeah, no, it's not electric type, so it's not going to resist it. So it should take it out, right? And thankfully for me, it does take it out. So this is actually looking pretty good for me now. Despite the sticky webs and despite my Mons getting crippled by the Jirachi, if I have this Scissor for the rest of my team, I think I can actually beat this guy despite the sticky webs. So things are looking pretty up so far. However, this is where I become the problem here, actually. So he brings in Jirachi, and I was thinking, it just has Iron Head, it just has Zen Head, but what's the worst this thing could happen, or this thing could have? So I did think about what he could have, but nothing came to mind. It wasn't until now that I see that, yeah, okay, I forgot that this thing can get Fire Punch, and yeah, because of that, it ends up taking out my Scissor completely. I was hoping I'd survive it, but no, I just don't take it whatsoever. It's crazy because in Gen 6 and 7, I remember Scissor surviving fire moves, so the fact that Jirachi manages to take me out with a fire punch that wasn't even stab, I know it's quite weak to fire, but it's not stab, so I was thinking I might have survived it. But of course, that just never works out for me. I always have to lose literally everything. But again, this was definitely my fault because it didn't occur to me that he would have Fire Punch. I probably knew that, but again, I just kind of forgot that they could have it. So yeah, it is what it is, obviously. So unfortunately, I lost Scissor. So now the chances of me winning this match are now pretty much bleak. Because yeah, it goes for Fire Punch now. I sent in Sylveon because of it. And I try to go for the Wish right here, I think. Either that or I go for the Shadow Ball because I wanted this Jirachi out of the way. But I was anticipating him to want to switch it out, so I think maybe I do go for the Wish. Because, yeah, I mean, he was definitely going to switch it out. I don't think he's going to want to stay in with Fire Punch, obviously. He'd rather switch out and just send it back in to go for Iron Hit or Zen Headbutt if he doesn't have that move. Goes into Swampert, which is fine. I'm just going to go for the Hyper Voice after this, so I can just damage whatever he brings in. Oh, actually here? Okay, hold on. I think here I committed a blunder here, actually. I think I went for the Wish again because I was angry at losing Scissor here. And I actually ended up going for the Wish again. Okay, never mind. I'm dumb, actually. Yeah, so going for the Hyper Voice here would have been nice. Especially because they sent out the Alolan Ninetales, which wouldn't have appreciated the Hyper Voice. It would have gotten the Aurora Veil right afterwards, but I would have been able to at least take it out by the next turn, most likely. But unfortunately, I committed the most terrible play in all of this league, basically. And just going for Wish again. I was trying to go for the freaking Hyper Voice, but yeah, the stick wasn't going up, and I was just getting way too hasty with it. When matches piss me off, I tend to just play out of my freaking mind, and then I just end up choking it because of it. It's kind of insane, honestly. I was just so angry that I was going to yet again lose, which is pretty annoying. So here, yeah, obviously, this thing gets to set up the Aurora Veil, and now I'm just basically stuck being able to do absolutely nothing. I think here I was considering going for another Wish because, yeah, he's probably going to want to switch back into Jirachi and ruin my day. He does just that, and I had to basically try to stay in and go for a Shadow Ball, I think, right afterwards, so that I could actually at least take out this this Jirachi. But I think I am gonna, like, you know, have to deal with an Iron Hit here. This Hail also isn't helping things either, because this didn't, it basically negates my leftovers too. So that blows. So here, obviously, I'm just gonna have to, yeah, like, I don't know what to do basically, so because of that, I actually, I was thinking if I wanted to switch in the Entei expecting the Iron Hit, but again, the problem is that it might just flinch me in the end anyway. So, yeah, obviously I didn't switch out. I also was letting the timer run out here too because I did not know what to do here. I stayed in, and I didn't really get to go for anything anyways. Like, even if I went for the Shadow Ball, I was just gonna freaking... I think it would have default me to Hyper Voice if I actually got to attack, but... Yeah, no, either way, I flinched, and I was kind of expecting that anyway, so not good for me, obviously. I think it's here where I decide to switch in Entei now and see what he wants to go for this time. He's going to stay in, and go for the Iron Hit like he did against Sylveon, obviously. But I was just kind of hoping I'd be able to, like, get an attack off before anything. But I think this Iron Hit might just end up, like, doing me in here. As you can see, it's a 2-hit KO, so... that does suck for me. The Hail is gone, so I wanted to believe that Aurora Veil would not be in effect either, but I actually don't remember how Aurora Veil works. I just know that when Hail's up, I think it actually becomes a problem, but I'm not sure if outside of it too. But either way, I switch out the Entei for some bizarre reason. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's because I resisted the Iron Hit with this as well, and I didn't want Entei to go down just yet. I could have maybe E-speeded the Ninetales for some damage. So here I try to go for, I think, the Shadow Ball again. After taking another Iron Hit here. Gonna try to go for the Shadow Ball just to, you know, take this thing out, hopefully. If I switch out, I'm stupid, obviously. But maybe that's what happens when I'm just like that, out of my mind. I think it's here where I Yeah, I'm aware that the match is now like 60 seconds left, but I honestly didn't care at the moment because I was just so angry that the fact that I was even getting like, or not getting outplayed, I was actually like choking really, really hard. I choked on the Scissor and I choked on the Sylveon, and both of those opportunities could have actually helped me win this match, and I end up just not being able to do absolutely anything now. Like basically here, I couldn't do anything of anything. I tried thinking of something, but really just nothing came to my mind. And a lot of this can probably just be attributed to the fact that I was also just playing very disinterested with this league so far, that I didn't know anything. So here, sends in Swampert to take the Shadow Ball, and it doesn't matter if I get the Spadef drop or not, I just don't win this at all. So here I try to send in Sylveon, but it doesn't matter once again because obviously the timer's about to run out. So here I already knew I lost, but I actually didn't realize how many Mons I had on my team compared to his. Like he actually had 3 Mons, I think. And I wasn't really sure if like I didn't actually pay attention to how many Mons I had. So because of that, this game, even though it goes to time, the game annoyingly enough is gonna say that I win the match, but in reality I don't win it because again I actually freaking lost Scissor. Losing Scissor and not getting the Hyper Voice off with the Sylveon on the Ninetales pretty much ruined the whole the whole game for me, and because of that I just wasn't able to win because of it. Like I knew I wasn't going to be able to win. I had a lot of Mons obviously, as the game basically suggested, but it didn't matter because they were all crippled and they were all just going to get taken out by either Swampert or Jirachi. In fact, I think Jirachi was most likely just going to like late game sweep at that point. So yeah, despite the lead, obviously I actually was definitely losing. I think having gone for the Earthquake on with the Garchomp on the Jirachi would have also helped things either, given how this guy was just staying in. But I was expecting him to freaking switch out on a lot of instances. So yeah, there was times where I tried to outpredict my opponent and it just didn't work. So this was just another terrible match, honestly. This was a winnable match and I ended up throwing it away like nothing. So remember what I said about the last match where I said like that might have been my least favorite match of them all? Chances are that this one here is actually the contender for that, honestly. Like if it's not that match, it's got to be this one, because this one my opponent was winnable, but like I just myself wasn't playing pretty hot at all. So because of that I ended up literally throwing, which is the last thing I want to do in these matches. You all know me, you guys know that I play these matches to win because I like winning, and when I'm losing you better believe I will be a sore loser. But it is what it is. Anyways, so yeah, we lost this match. I believe like he had 3 months left, so he won this 3-0 for sure. So despite the time, the match going to time, I think that was another thing. Like the match went to time, so I didn't even care if I lost, or I didn't even care like if I, well, I did care that I lost, but like I didn't at the same time. If that makes any sense, because it went to time. Remember how upset I was that I won my week 2 match because it went to time? Well, here, yeah, like I lost again, but like I think that's why I didn't care about the timer, because I was just like, you know what, I'm tired of losing and my opponent is just getting matches without it going to time. So here, like that was my only consolidation, I guess you can say, that my opponent didn't win without the match going to time, basically. So yeah, but anyways, with all that said, let me quickly talk to you guys about why there was no week 4 match. Once again, remember what I said in the last match, that after losing week 3, I was just starting to get very disinterested in this league. And this match basically demonstrated that too, given how often I choked in the match. And yeah, and despite the chokes and despite me playing as disinterested as ever, I was still pissed because, again, I don't like losing. But yeah, I was also just not feeling like doing these matches anymore, basically, because yeah, let it be known that I was also playing Pokemon Legends Arceus and Legends ZA around this time. So like those games were starting to become a priority because I actually wanted to finish those games before the end of the year, in, you know, which at the time was 2025, obviously, because we're now in 2026. These matches are from 2025 after all. So obviously, and I think this is the last one too for the year too, because the next week match, that one's actually, I believe, the first match I actually did this year. So if anything, that'll be the first match of this year in a way. But yeah, so because I was disinterested in this league, I actually, for some reason, I think I thought that my week 4 opponent was Rhoulder, but it turns out that it was actually another dude who never scheduled with me, but neither did I. So it's kind of like, we both suck at socializing. So basically, none of us scheduled a match ever, and he never reached out to me, and I never reached out to him. We're both stupid. So because of that, I think the commissioner just gave us both a DQ. Actually, no. I think he gave my opponent the DQ. So I don't know if maybe this guy just DM'd the guy saying, oh, he never scheduled with me, even though I don't think they tried. So I think because of that, they give them the forfeit win. Because I saw the doc and it showed that he had a 3-0 win over me. So even though we didn't play, so I'm guessing it was a forfeit win for them. But regardless, I didn't really care either way. Either way, I know that this was still my fault either way, because I also didn't try to schedule either. So yeah, it is what it is. But here was the thing. Because I was gravely upset at losing this match, I actually said to myself, if I lose the next match, then I'm done. I'm not gonna do any more matches and just gonna quit the league altogether, because I'm already getting tired of losing, basically. So we're gonna see how that goes, and if I lose, obviously, then that's basically it. If not, then I get to continue. Like if I win, I do get to continue. So yeah. With all that said, if you watch this match, thank you for watching as always. Hope to catch you fellas for the other match whenever we get to it. For now, just take it easy and have yourselves a good one.